Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a crazy new bike and I just recently got it. It's going to be replacing my old ZX6R that I had for at least 2 years now. So this is my brand new CBR1000RR and it's the SP version. Now some of the differences with the SP version is that it comes with Olin suspension, front and rear. And on the specific model it's electronically controlled. So you can see these two things. And you can control it all from the screen right there. Same with the rear shock. Not only that, the difference between this one and the base model is that it has, if it focuses, Brembo brakes. And it has a couple of little differences also, especially with like the subframe, that they made it lighter. This one's actually not the stock one because the old one is right there. It's kind of bent into pieces. And the tank under here, under the plastics, is titanium. I think they do that for weight reduction. Now, as you heard me say that the subframe is not the stock one, and I will show you why. Here is the old one, and as you can see, that's supposed to be straight. You can see right here that this is supposed to go across right here, but it's not. So I literally just replaced this entire subframe with a new one. It's supposed to be the silver color, but it doesn't exactly match because this is off a stock CBR1000RR, not the SP version, which is fine because it fits well and everything. And actually, to my surprise, this subframe is actually commonly replaced on this bike because the stock one on the SP version doesn't have the mounts for foot pegs. Yeah, this bike actually comes with no back passenger seat, and it's not recommended to have a passenger on the stock subframe. But this is not the stock one. It's a little tiny bit heavier, but that means I can also have a back seat on here and the rear pegs for a passenger. Now, the way this bike looks currently right now, it's not amazing looking because I took off all the plastic pretty much, except for the fender and some underside ones. This tank is going to be a hint of what the new colors are going to be. I'm going to have to remove this again though because I realized that one of the plastic fenders on the back, it's broken on the back, so I can't mount the tail light how it's supposed to go. So that's why I have this brand new plastic for the back. And along with that, I had to order this also fender part. This goes on the very back underside, just like that. And last but not least, we have this piece to put on. This holds on the dash and also mounts the headlight, and on the top you can put on the mirrors. This one is perfectly fine except for the fact that it's slightly broken right here, so you can't mount a mirror very well, obviously. So with that, I think I should be able to finish it today if I'm lucky. It's going to be very long hours though, but I want to finish this entire bike one entire video, so you're going to see the complete rebuild from crash to looking brand new in one video. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot to take a before video of the entire bike. I do have a few pictures of how we picked it up. It looked like it was in some sort of rear accident, I'm not quite sure. The subframe was completely bent and one of the fairings was completely missing. Some of the parts in the front were missing too. You guys can see for yourself in the pics. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. The reason it's so difficult to get this bottom plastic out is because we got the whole wiring harness in here. Got this, the battery, the all the fuses, more fuses I think, some wires. And then the big thing is this huge ABS pump. So this is like, these are all hardline brake lines, so they're very difficult to move, and I really don't want to be bending them that much. And unfortunately, the plastic goes under this piece, so I have to pretty much get rid of it. Now, I'm not even joking when I say this. I think it might even be easier just to cut it right where, like right here where it's broken, and then put this new piece in, the part that I actually need. Maybe like plastic weld it together, just so I have the full back piece. Just doing that I think will be easier than removing all this, and I think I'll be able to get a good proper fix on it. So I think I'm just gonna do that first. Guys, look at how tiny this battery is. I cannot believe that for 1,000, this is what the battery is. The camera will even focus on it. Yeah, look how tiny this battery is. And for my 600, it was like twice the size of this, honestly. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not the battery that is stock in this bike. It's supposed to be a lithium battery, and this is not that. So I might replace that. I might not. I'm not sure yet. If this is working fine, then I might just keep it. But I know the proper one is a lithium one for this specific model, so we'll see what I do. Now, I couldn't find a hacksaw or like a Dremel to cut this plastic, so this will have to do. Perfect. There is something that kind of bothers me about this whole job, is that imagine you broke off one of these little thin, flimsy plastic pieces on the end while you were just taking off your taillight. I mean, look how thin that is. It's just these two mounting holes, this one and this one. And if you just snapped one of those off, you'd literally have to replace this entire piece. I mean, this goes on the underside of the ABS system, like the battery, the ECUs, a bunch of fuses and stuff. Like, it's just incredible how much stuff you have to change just for something back here. Or if you were even doing something like replacing your fairings or something like that, look how thin the piece of plastic is there. Like, this is one of the brackets for it on the very end, and then also something like this. I mean, these could easily get snapped, and then you'd have to replace this entire thing. Honda engineers, you gotta do better. So this is the old taillight, and somehow it's in perfect condition. As you can see though, the tabs that hold this part in were broken off, which is perfect because I'm able to salvage the old grommet and the little thing on the inside and the little bolt. So that's perfect. As you can see, that's a whole piece of plastic that got ripped off. Alright, so there's no really easy way for me to set up the tripod anymore because I have to keep walking around to put this fairing on, but I'll kind of show you guys. This is what I have so far. So I was able to get the bottom piece on. It was really simple. All I needed was just a couple of screws. I found some washers, a couple of screws there too. And then you can kind of see it's that back piece right here. So that's what I just put in. So this is a plastic piece that was broken before that we put in, not part of the fairing kit. This is part of the fairings, obviously. So that's on there now, and then it's very stable, very sturdy. And then the top piece, which is this right here, was simply basically clip on, and it has like a little bit of has like a little plastic clip in the front, and then this will simply go on here, and then there's like a little black piece also that I have for it. But before any of that, I have to put this on, which is for the passenger seat. I'm realizing that a lot of the bolts on this bike are Phillips head screwdriver heads, and I happen to have one of the worst screwdrivers on the planet, and it's like the only one I have, so I've just been working with this the whole time. But I guess the job done at least. Okay, next up I think it's time for this headlight. So this is obviously the original one. The lens on this headlight is all good, I checked it out, but there is a few little broken pieces on the back, but nothing too bad and nothing will affect the functionality of it, so I should be good to put this back on. Obviously, like this plastic and stuff will be replaced also. Luckily this all came with the kit, same with this black outline. Welcome back everyone, it's the next day, and today I have some big news. I was finally able to put the front headlight and fairing on, along with wiring up like these mirrors that have the turn signals inside of them, and also putting in this windscreen, which I did not have the bolts for. These usually go on with some special type of like nuts and stuff that kind of look like this, so I just I made my own. So you can see those are 3D printed on both sides, and then I'm gonna have another one here. I already got those laid out right there. I still have to adjust like the little air intake on the side, and then I'll be ready to put these lower fairings on, which are basically these right there. And then before that, I'm also going to put this heat wrap in like this one has. If you look at the exhaust on the underside, you can see this is where the fairing touches basically, and you can see how blue that is, so that you know it's getting hot. It also looks like the previous owner had some sort of wiring for like lighting and stuff. It kind of got all ripped apart when I took off the fairings. So I'm just going to take out all the wiring for this. I'm not going to have that anymore. I haven't been able to do a lot of recording because I'm getting to this pretty late. And by the time it hits around 6 p.m. right here, it's starting to get very dark. So I can barely even work on this thing. And I don't have much space to work on it just in the garage alone. So I kind of have to pull it out and work on stuff in here. So that's why it's kind of taking a few days, but it should be done here pretty soon. Something I'm just now noticing is that on this one, you can see it kind of burned through the plastics a little bit, like right in this area. And you already had a lot of heat wrap in there, so I'm gonna make sure to layer up on this area as well. I added a lot to where like the exhaust pipe ends, so like it goes kind of through here, but like it routes out here to get to the back. And so obviously I put a lot on this corner especially. Okay, here's the bottom piece on. On the left side of the bike, you can't really see it too well because it's kind of low. Obviously, this is a little scraped up, so I might replace that later, but for now it's protecting the engine, so I'm just going to keep it on. As you can see, this is where I put a lot of the heat wrap too. You can kind of see it sticking out a little bit because the exhaust gets super blue right here, so it gets hot obviously because it's a curve. I put some all the way through here basically on this edge, on this side. I'm not going to lie, I kind of forgot to start recording, so right now I'm basically removing the fender, replacing it with the new one. So far I've gotten pretty much all the grommets transferred over, but there are these little bolts on the inside that are put in with a rivet, so I'm gonna have to work that out somehow. I had to stop yesterday because unfortunately I ran into a roadblock. Now as you can see, this bike is got pretty much this side of the fairing on, but unfortunately it doesn't fit in all the way, and I'll explain why. These little pieces go on to the back part of this fairing, so it's like two separate pieces. What a lot of people do is actually they just take off this plastic piece in general, so they can sometimes run frame sliders right here that bolts directly like right here in this area right here. Now apparently that's what this owner did, because I did have to take these off in order for it to fit. So this is one side of the frame slider. Of course I am happy that he did have them on because it did take a lot of the impact at least. This gets mounted through this big rod and then on the other side as well with these brackets. Now unfortunately that means that for that kit to work you need to use different bolts. Now you can see this bolt right here is longer than it's supposed to be. So this is in all the way right here, and you see it's not seating right. Now because I'm going to get frame sliders for this bike anyways, I'm going to leave these bolts right here because I'm going to change them out eventually. Because I'm going to change them out when those come in. But first, I have to mod these fairings right here. So this is a common thing. If you want to keep this part, which I do, then you're supposed to drill a hole right here. And unfortunately, it's not just one. You got to do a hole on half of this one and like part of this one as well. Alright guys, the bike is finally complete. Here she is. I got the fairings on. I got way too excited last night, so I ended up just riding it after I finished it. So I know you guys probably wanted to see that, but I don't have like a GoPro or anything. And also it was pretty chilly out and my camera was starting to freeze a little bit, I'm not even gonna lie. Today I'm gonna give you guys the cold start because you guys have to hear it. It sounds very good. I'm gonna pull it out. You can see that has the SC Project exhaust, and it's definitely titanium by the welds you can tell, and from the bluish color that it's getting. The headers themselves, I'm not sure what material they are. Look like some sort of stainless steel, but they don't have any cats or anything. So, I mean, this thing is basically straight piped. This exhaust does not do very much muffling at all. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a cold start, and once I get a GoPro, I will be sure to make some videos with it. Let me know if you guys want to see some bike videos. I think they'd be kind of cool. But yeah, thanks for watching.